What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Face the Heels. This is episode 31. My name is Ben Cornett. Happy Wednesday to everybody. You can follow me on X at BennyBoy702. You can watch this show and all my Face the Heel episodes and other shows I do on my YouTube channel, Ben Cornett 9015. So please like, share, and subscribe. Be greatly appreciated. So, with that all out of the way, we had quite a weekend. The Royal Rumble, quite an event. It's interesting. We only had 4 matches on the card, but that's good. That's not bad. Both the men's and women's Royal Rumbles matches took over an hour anyway, so you had 2 hours right there, along with 2 other matches, one for the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship. And you also had the United States title on the line, Logan Paul against Kevin Owens. So we'll go ahead and break this one down, the Royal Rumble review and fallout. Like I said, this was a pretty good show. Not the best Royal Rumble, but certainly was pretty good in my opinion. The women's Royal Rumble kicked off the show. We had some surprises in there. Naomi, she came back after her stint with TNA Wrestling for over a year. She made her return to WWE. Performed very well. Also, speaking of TNA, we did have a TNA performer show up at the Royal Rumble and compete in the Royal Rumble match for the women. That's the current TNA Knockouts Women's Champion, Jordynne Grace. So, as you know, Jordynne Grace had a feud with Naomi for the Knockouts title. She beat Naomi at Hard to Kill TNA for the title. So there was a little bit of history there. And, Jordynne Grace, probably for, WWE fans, some may not, know who she is because obviously she's in TNA. TNA's on Access TV, which isn't in a lot of homes. So, people might not be familiar with her work, but she is a very good wrestler, very good performer, great look. She did very well for herself. I think this was a cool that WWE reached out to other companies to have their performers work on the show. I'm fine with that. I think it's great. It brings attention to other companies. So it's a win-win for both WWE and TNA. So yeah, Jordynne Grace did very well. We also had the debut of Jade Cargill, who I thought looked very well, very good in that match. She looked like a star. She, acts like a star. She's going to be good. She came over from AEW several months ago, and it seems like she's a good fit for WWE. Just her persona, her look. The wrestling needs to improve, but when you put her in a match like the Royal Rumble, she doesn't have to do much. So, it kind of hit her weaknesses, but it, highlighted her strengths, and she did great. The stare down with Bianca Belair was really fun. Just a great sight to see. That could be a future, match. Maybe WrestleMania, which we'll get into in a little bit. So who knows how that's going to play out. But Jade Cargill looked great in her first night in a WWE ring. She's only going to get better, and the sky's the limit. And a match with someone like Bianca is definitely on the table. It can make money off that one. Other wrestlers as well. When Charlotte Flair gets back, that could be a program. Those two can have a pretty good program. So just a lot of matches for Jade, a lot of opponents for Jade Cargill, down the road. We also had the return of Liv Morgan. She entered the Royal Rumble number 30. She's back. She looks great. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with Liv Morgan. I believe they're going to, we all knew about what happened a couple months back with the the marijuana incident, but I don't think that's going to really hurt her at all. I mean, especially with, the new regime in WWE, with Triple H running things. I don't think they're going to take it out on her like that. But yeah, Liv looked great. But the winner of the Royal Rumble for the women was Bayley, and she came in at number 3, stayed in the Rumble for over an hour. I think it was like 63 minutes. Not sure, but yeah, she looked great in the ring, and I think it was the right call. Bayley. It's been talked about that she's going to get a push. Now she gets to pick her opponent. We saw on Monday Night Raw this week that she called out Rhea Ripley, but Nia Jax came out, attacked Ripley before she got to the ring. Nia threatened Bayley to say that, Rhea's mine, not yours. And then Bayley just said, okay, well, I'll make my decision Friday night. So I think the plan all along is going to be Bayley against Io Sky. I can see a turn. The Damage Control is going to turn on Bayley. I could see that. And then they'll have their match at Mania. I think it would be very good. Bayley's going to more than likely turn face, which I think it's time. It's been a few years since she's been a heel, and has done a great job with her character. Now, as far as will Bayley go back to the lovable, huggable Bayley? No, I think it'll just be same Bayley, but just as a babyface, and I think that works just fine. So, her and Io, I think will have a very good match at Mania, assuming that's the plan, which I think is going to pretty much be the plan. So, but who knows? I mean, with the way WWE's gone lately, there's been a lot of changing and other stuff going on, which we'll get into. Again, last week we talked about, me and Nick Rosario, who was on here last week, talked about the stuff going on with WWE, with Vince being out and everything. We won't go into further details on that, but there's a lot of changes. So yeah, this is going to be interesting to see what happens, who Bayley picks, which I think we kind of know it's going to be Io Sky eventually. They'll make the decision for Bayley on SmackDown this week. So I expect the Damage Control to turn their back on her. So yeah, that was the Women's Royal Rumble match. Again, I enjoyed it. Good surprises. They had a bit where even R-Truth came into the ring. Did a little comedy act. R-Truth is just comedy gold. I didn't mind that. He didn't. It was only for a couple minutes. No big deal. So, that was fun. Yeah. So again, Bayley is your 2024 Women's Royal Rumble winner, and she will go on to WrestleMania to face either Rhea or Io Sky. I assume it'll be Io Sky, so that should be good. The next match, we had actually the WWE Undisputed Championship match. It's a 4-way match with Roman Reigns, the champion, going up against LA Knight, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles. We got Roman Reigns winning the match, pinned AJ Styles. AJ took the pin. Again, typical match, typical Roman match. Interference. Solo Sikoa came in there. And then Styles is going to try to do his forearm, from the top rope, but LA Knight pushed, or Roman Reigns pushed, I believe it was LA Knight into AJ Styles. He fell down, and Roman did the spear, wins the match, and is still your champion. I don't think there was any surprise. I don't think anybody thought that, Orton, Styles, or LA Knight were going to beat Roman Reigns. I certainly didn't. This match was okay. It was just there for me. Again, it was a typical Roman Reigns match. You're going to have interference. They're going to do everything they can, the bloodline, and, excuse me, anything and everything they can to make sure Roman leaves as champion. So it is what it is. I know fans not happy with this. Some fans are not happy with this drawn out title reign. I get it, but Um, I don't mind it so much. They could be a little more creative with these matches, in my opinion, the finishes and stuff. But I understand, again, the bloodline helping the tribal chief. That's how they do it. That's how they roll. So yeah, Roman Reigns wins the match, and now he will go on to WrestleMania. We know he will not be at the Elimination Chamber; he's not scheduled to be there. So his next title defense pretty much going to be at WrestleMania. So most likely night 2. Now on to the U.S. title match, which was up next. Logan Paul defending the U.S. title against Kevin Owens. This was a pretty good match, I thought. Owens helped, he facilitated that match with Logan Paul. Obviously, Logan Paul, you can say what you want, but he's a star, not just outside WWE, but in WWE as well. He's really improved in the ring. He's done a great job of, being an unlikable character in WWE. He's a great heel. His personality is just spot on as a heel. It works, and every time I see Logan Paul wrestle, he just gets better and better. He knows he's got great psychology. He studies the business very well. You could tell he's a wrestling fan. He loves doing this, and it shows in his performances. So, and Kevin Owens is a great dance partner, if you will. As I understand, as I read reports, Kevin Owens came in, wrestled injured, actually. They're saying it's his foot. He's having some issues. I kind of saw that. He was moving around, not at his normal pace. So that makes a lot of sense. But still, it turned out to be a good match, better than I expected. So Logan Paul ended up losing by disqualification. One of his buddies came out. I forget his name, but came out of the crowd. And then Grayson Waller and Austin Theory came out trying to get involved as well. I believe it was Grayson Waller handed the brass knucks to Logan Paul. Logan Paul tried to hit Owens, missed. Owens, knocked out Logan Paul with the brass knuckles, pinned him for the 1-2, but the referee saw that Owens had his brass knuckles still on his hand, and that's where he saw the disqualification. So Logan Paul wins by DQ, keeps the title. It was a pretty creative way to, end the match. I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty good stuff. Owens doesn't get beat clean, and Logan Paul doesn't look bad. And and then after the match, Owens attacks Logan Paul. So I think it's a win-win for both. Logan Paul, it was kind of expected. I pretty much figured he would win the match, keep the title, and I think he's going to have a big match at WrestleMania. My assumption would be LA Knight, probably. They could go there, but they can go in a lot of different directions too. But I know this Logan Paul recently did resign with WWE, so he's going to be there a while. And yeah, he's gonna have a big match at Mania. It's just the question is who and which night. Night 1, night 2. Regardless, it's he's gonna have a match, gonna defend the US title, and he's done a great job as US champion. He's definitely I think he's elevated the belt. You may think, oh, that's crazy. Logan Paul's a part-timer, but you have to think of it in terms as far as his popularity. Just Logan Paul himself. Just forget about the wrestler Logan Paul. Just Logan Paul, the boxer, his personality, his YouTube followers. Got an incredible social media following. Having a WWE title, just helps WWE. It grows their popularity. So, Logan Paul brings value to it in a different way, is what I'm saying. So, again, win-win for both WWE and Logan Paul. All right, well, we got to those 3 matches. Now it's time for the Men's Royal Rumble. That was the main event. Again, 30 men go over the top, and whoever's the last one standing wins. Last year, Cody Rhodes won the Royal Rumble, went on the Mania, faced Roman, was unsuccessful, trying to win the title. But this year he has another shot at it, and he turns out Cody Rhodes he won the Royal Rumble 2024. He's a two-time Royal Rumble champion. It's the first time we've had a WWE wrestler win back-to-back Royal Rumbles since Stone Cold Steve Austin from 97, 98, and 99. I think it was 97 and 98. Yes. So, for me, I thought it would be CM Punk, and as it turns out, I think we're all, not glad, but I think we could safely say it's a good thing it wasn't CM Punk, because we'll get into that in a few minutes. But Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Gunther were the final three in the ring. Some people had Gunther winning this, and it was a unique choice. But I had Punk winning it. I thought he would go on to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. But I do see it does make sense that Cody Rhodes does win it, because in a way you could still have CM Punk still go after the world title and finish his story, as he likes to say, and face Seth Rollins. You could add an Elimination Chamber, and we'll get into it in a few minutes with the whole CM Punk deal. It's not meant to be this year for him. I'll explain in a minute, but Cody Rhodes ends up eliminating Gunther, and then he had a nice little exchange with CM Punk for about 5 minutes. As soon as Punk says, told Cody, I'm not going to lose to Dusty's kid, that's when I knew. I think Cody was going to win this thing, make the comeback, and he ended up eliminating CM Punk. So Cody Rhodes, your 2024 Royal Rumble winner, back-to-back, and he pointed at, obviously, Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins was in another skybox as well, but Cody pointed specifically at Roman Reigns. Unfinished business to settle there. So yeah, it sounds to me like Cody wants Roman Reigns at Mania. He wants the rematch. But then on Raw, we saw that Seth Rollins came out, told Cody to challenge him, sets to the effect that, what Roman has is the Hollywood title, the part-time title, and what Rollins has is the working man's title, and called it the Dusty title. So kind of, getting into Cody's head a little bit more, make it a little tougher on Cody with his decision. Who do I go up against? Do I go up against Roman Reigns, or do I go up against Seth Rollins? Tough decision, but I still expect it's going to be Cody and Roman. That's how it's going to be set up. So yeah, it should be a very good match, and more than likely, I think this is where Cody will finish the story. I was a big advocate for Rock Roman. I would prefer that at WrestleMania, but it sounds like that's not going to be the direction they're going. Obviously, there was rumors that The Rock could have entered the Royal Rumble, but that was not to be. So more than likely, it was just it was always going to be Cody, and WWE, to their credit, stuck with Cody. They're sticking to it, and so it should be Cody and Roman. I assume it's going to be night 2. Obviously, that's not going to be night 1, but night 2, and it should be just as good a match as it was last year. So, looking forward to it, and I know Cody's on Raw, but he will go to SmackDown. That's to fight Roman again. About the decision. It's going to be Roman. That's my opinion, and that's fine. That's been the story all along. That's the direction and the trajectory that WWE is going anyway since last year. So yeah, it should be a fun ride these next 7 to 8 weeks. But speaking of WrestleMania, and someone that unfortunately will not be on the WrestleMania show for night 1 or night 2, ladies and gentlemen, CM Punk. He, at the Royal Rumble, he ended up injuring his triceps, torn tricep. It was rumored that it happened during a Drew McIntyre DDT. Um, yeah, this is devastating. You feel for CM Punk. This is, just unfortunate for him. He was looking forward to having a WrestleMania match, being possibly the main event, either night 1 or night 2. I think the trajectory was going to be Punk and Seth Rollins night 1 at WrestleMania. Punk I would assume, would be in the Elimination Chamber, win that. And that would be whoever won the chamber would face Seth Rollins for the world title. But with Punk being out now, it's rumored he's out for about 4 to 6 months. So, yeah, he's not going to be at Mania. That's disappointing. CM Punk coming back to WrestleMania, wrestling in a WrestleMania match, something that a lot of people, including myself, was looking forward to. But with the injury, that's off the table now. They did a segment with Drew McIntyre where I thought Drew did a good job as a heel with the promo and everything, saying I'm not a spiritual man, but I prayed that you would get hurt, and that's what happened. And so it drew a lot of heat on Drew McIntyre, and CM Punk, they went at it. McIntyre ended up, stomping on CM Punk's tricep. And it's already injured. It's already torn, so you can't do nothing. And Drew was careful. Obviously it was scripted. It was, rehearsed. So, but as far as Punk not being at Mania again, this is disappointing because I would have loved to see him and Rollins go at it one-on-one. But instead, he's going to be out, and we'll probably get that match some other time, perhaps maybe next WrestleMania. But I would expect Punk to be back around SummerSlam, February, March, June, July. So the end of July would be 6 months. And assuming Punk gets the surgery right away, 6 months would end after July. So SummerSlam would be kind of early. He could probably still pull it off. I would expect Punk's first feud back would be probably with Drew McIntyre. Now, or maybe it will be. We don't know yet because Drew McIntyre's contract is up after WrestleMania. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. But again, unfortunately, with CM Punk, he will not be at WrestleMania this year. It's a real shame. So with that being said, we have, change of plans for WrestleMania. Obviously, the rumored matches were going to be Cody versus Roman, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, night 1. It was even reported that Gunther would be going up against Brock Lesnar. But with all the news coming out with the WWE, this Vince scandal and everything like that, the allegations, Brock, rumored to be in those allegations, I think it's safe to say that Brock will not be on WrestleMania and probably will not be back in WWE for, if not forever, then a very long time. So the plans for Mania are going to be a little different. It's going to be interesting to see what they do here because, again, Cody's on Raw, but he's going to fight Roman, who's on SmackDown. So Cody will probably be going to SmackDown for a couple months. And then, Seth Rollins, again, was rumored to be fighting CM Punk. That's off the table. Gunther was reportedly going to be going up against Brock Lesnar, and that's off the table. So you leave Seth and Gunther with matches, without any matches at this point. Now with Seth Rollins also, also depends on his injury. Remember, he had a knee injury, partially torn MCL. Those usually take about 8 to 10 weeks to recover. So who knows? And with Damian Priest still Money in the Bank, senior Money in the Bank, who knows? He could cash it in then. And I think my early prediction would be the Elimination Chamber, I think, could be for the world title. Maybe, or maybe they'd have the number 1 contender that then goes up against Seth. there's just a lot of things right now that are on the table. We don't know what's what on Raw. As far as other WrestleMania matches, um, Rhea Ripley will probably go up against Becky Lynch. Also, or it could be Nia. It could be Nia Jax, as we saw on Monday night, with Nia attacking Rhea Ripley. That's a possibility as well. Maybe you make it a triple threat. Rhea against Nia against Becky Lynch. Remember, Nia and Becky still have a feud going, so that could be a triple threat match for the women's world title. Also, there's been rumors about Jay against Jimmy Uso, brother versus brothers. So it'll be interesting to see what WWE does with, how creative they get. Because with CM Punk out and Brock Lesnar out, it's going to leave WWE, scrambling for some matches. But I trust him. I trust Triple H to come up with the best solution, come up with the best possible matches for Mania. So we'll see how he does. We'll see what they can do, because they're going to have to get pretty creative here. And we got a comment there. Mr. Alex Schomburg, thanks for tuning in tonight, buddy. How you doing? Hola. ¿Cómo estás, Mr. Schomburg? I know you watched Royal Rumble. I know what you thought of it. I know you're disappointed that your favorite, Sasha Banks, did not show up. Mercedes Moné, but I do think Mercedes will end up in AEW. That's been reported. It's just when she starts in AEW, but we'll see what happens. But you did see Naomi back. You did see Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Alex, like my queen. Yeah, I know, man. But you'll probably have to watch her in AEW. That's most likely where she's headed, according to the reports. So, yeah. But again, as far as the WrestleMania card goes, we still got about 8 weeks to go, so there is some time. It's possible maybe you can do a Seth Rollins and Gunther. You could do that. I do think you have to have Gunther in a high-profile match. He's been Intercontinental Champion for over 600 days now. He's been just phenomenal these last couple years. He's a guy that is eventually going to be a top guy in the company. Gunther's just impressive. He's got a unique look. Just a very good wrestler. Puts on great matches, and he's getting better on the mic. His character development's getting better and better. So Gunther, I think he's ready. I think he's ready to be the top guy. There's another guy who went into the Royal Rumble, eventually, supposedly as reported, took Brock Lesnar's place, and that was Braun Breaker from NXT. More than likely, he's probably going to get called up to the main roster sooner than later. But Braun, he's ready for the main roster. He could have a match at WrestleMania. We don't know. So right now, he and Baron Corbin are going to be in the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. They're going up against Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes at Vengeance Day NXT. That's this Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Check it out. It's on Peacock and on WWE Network internationally. So, yeah, check out NXT Vengeance Day. Should be good. The main event is going to be the NXT champion Dragunov going up against Trick Williams. But Trick Williams is going to have another match. Him and Carmelo Hayes is going to go up against, who was it? They're going up in the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Classic. So, should be good. So Trick Williams got double duty, and then Lyra Valkyria, she's going to defend her NXT Women's title against Roxanne Perez. So there's some good matches on this card. I'm looking forward to the NXT Vengeance Day. If you're a fan of NXT, it should be a pretty good show. So yeah, I can't wait. Like I said, Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes in the Dusty Rhodes final against Braun Breaker, Baron Corbin. So yeah, should be a very good card. Very good card. I'm taking my talents to AEW and canceling WWE out of my life if that happens. Yeah. Oh, come on, Alec. I mean, you got Bianca, you got Jade Cargill. You got plenty of women's wrestlers that'll you can watch. But watch AEW too. Give them some love and support. As well as I can't support a company who doesn't appreciate my queen Sasha. Okay, that's your privilege. And he says he's already he's on the Raw roster. Okay, yeah. We'll see how he does then. But like I said, I think Braun is ready. I think he's beyond ready for the WWE roster. He's been in NXT for a few years now. Carmelo Hayes, he's probably going to go to the main roster too, probably on SmackDown. He's been having a program with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. So yeah, it's going to be fun to see Braun and Carmelo on the main roster. They're going to add some good depth to a already loaded Raw and SmackDown talent roster. So I'm looking forward to see what they do on that show, on their respective shows. Braun's on Raw. Carmelo, I would assume, will go to SmackDown. So, yeah, you got a lot of good depth on both shows. Again, NXT's, pumping out the stars, getting them ready for the main roster. So they just keep continuing to do their thing. Shawn Michaels doing a great job in NXT. So, yeah. But yeah, the change of plans, WrestleMania, we already talked about that. So, yeah, those are pretty much the main topics I wanted to talk about tonight. But again, Royal Rumble was a good show. Raw was a pretty decent show from what I saw. I didn't watch the whole thing, but we talked about Raw going to Netflix in January 2025. We did that last week, got in depth into that one. But so yeah, 2024 is looking like it's going to be a great year for WWE. I know despite everything that's going around with WWE right now, with the whole allegations and stuff like that, which is unfortunate. And you just hope for the best for the victim and WWE. So that's the most important thing, is the victim. But as far as on the wrestling side of things, WWE, it's WrestleMania season, and we're setting up for a good 2024. So I'm looking forward to it. Other stuff going around. I got AEW Dynamite right now. Saw bits and pieces of it. It's been okay. AEW really needs to. You just hope in 2024 things get better for Tony Khan and that company. But they got to get some hot storylines going, get some hot performers, get performers that are hot, get them over. They got Swerve and Hangman in the ring right now doing a promo. I was on record saying this, and I'll keep saying it. Swerve's the guy you want to push. I think he's a main eventer. He's just getting better and better each week. Hangman Page, always been a good hand in AEW, so looking forward to that. And just hope AEW gets their stuff together. I mean, they got a very talented roster. They just need to, get over the roadblocks, start getting creative, getting better storylines, getting, your top guys over, get them more over with the crowd. So we'll see what happens. AEW and TNA, they're doing pretty good right now. So there's some momentum right now in both TNA, WWE, and hopefully again AEW gets more momentum as well. So with that being said, I think we're going to wrap this one up for the night. I want to thank everybody who watched tonight here on Face the Heels, episode 31. It's a good show. We reviewed the Royal Rumble, came up with some scenarios for WrestleMania, especially with people being out of there now. WWE forced to really get creative here and see what they can pull off and put on the cards for night 1 and night 2. So looking very forward to that. So with that being said, everybody, thank you for watching Face the Heels tonight. And please, like I said, like, subscribe, and share this show. All my other shows, have at it. Yeah, so everybody, take care. Have a good night. And we'll see you next time right here on Face the Heels. And, oh, we got one more comment. Long live Queen Shasha. She's my champ. There you go. That's cool. And Alex, she definitely is your queen. All right, everybody, have a good night, and we'll see you next time right here on Face the Heels. Take care.